I was born in Logan, Utah. I was 18 when I was diagnosed with retinitis pigmentosa, so freshman in college. Really had had no experience or been around anybody else that was blind. So I reflected back onto a time in junior high when I had heard a school teacher give a presentation and she was blind. So that became a reference point. I'm like, I don't know how, but I guess somehow you can have a career and lead a joyful life. And I was feeling like I'm being pretty dependent. I can't drive. And she said, to our class, she says, independence is being in charge of one's own choices. And I remember that just stuck. I thought, okay, I can be in charge of my choices. Might not be able to drive, I might not be the carpool mom, but I can be in charge of my choices.
At the time, it hadn't really manifested itself dramatically yet. She couldn't see in the dark at all, and which, as being engaged, was fine with me. That just means she held on tighter. And when you're in love, that's not a bad thing.
Had experiences where, I was told you ought to just be, you ought to just be grateful you have a job. And to me, I owe it to myself, to my kids, to have a job that I loved and that I was passionate about.
Well, she's a leader. She's very much a leader. She deals with things head on, and she deals with things by helping others.
When I quit driving, we bought a tandem bike, and so for a summer, I was able to be on the front and had one of my kids on the back, and it was kind of like mom's car. Then by the next summer, the doctor said, your vision's that's not safe. So the tandem bike became my husband and I's activity. And we're on our third tandem bike. We've put 1,500 miles on it this last year. We love it.
We got heavily involved in the Foundation Fighting Blindness, which was people it raises money worldwide for people, for research for her disease, retinitis pigmentosa. And we established support groups and helped others, established a board of directors for Utah, became an award-winning chapter. Nothing holds her back.
One thing that's interesting with retinitis pigmentosa is you gradually lose things. You lose the ability to read. You lose the ability to recognize faces. Social situations become more challenging, so you kind of you go through different losses. It's kind of an ongoing grieving process. I remember when our kids were little, we have 2 kids, and I was just wanting to, it was summer, I was wanting to do the typical things with them, take them swimming, do various activities with them. And I remember sitting on, and it's funny because I reflect back on that day and it still becomes emotional, but I remember him leaving for work and me kind of being like, I'm done. This is hard. I don't know if I can do this. And they were still, God, I had no idea. They were still sleeping, and I remember I thought there is so much to live for. And I think it was simple, but I again went back to I can choose my life. I can be passionate. And so they got up, and I was recently telling them this story. They're 25 and 23 now, and one's actually in China. They're very adventurous kids because I wanted them to not feel like they needed to take care of their mom. I wanted them to know that their mom loved life and